Hi, my viewers. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel and for viewing this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that like button and hit that notification bell so that when I post again, you'll be the first person to be notified and you'll be able to share the video with friends and with your colleagues as well. Today, I'm just going to talk to you about what I could call back to basics. Back to basics in the sense that the topic I'm going to be talking to you for social workers who are practicing out there, this is your bread and butter. It's something that you know, possibly at the back of your mind, but I'm just going to break it down to you a little bit further today, and hopefully it will also help some social work students who are online or some ASYEs who are online who might be interested in knowing these 7 principles. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 7 principles of social work as espoused by Father Felix Biestek. As we know, Father Felix Biestek is one of the, what I would call, the fathers in the social work profession, really. Father Felix Biestek was a Catholic priest who was a practicing social worker at the time and is the one who actually came up with these 7 principles which are anchoring the social work profession. Whether you're working with adults, whether you're working with children, we all know about the 7 principles of social work by Father Felix Biestek. This was back in the 1940s and 1950s when he was a young man practicing as a social worker, and he came up with these principles which do continue to influence our profession to this present day. So I'm going to talk to you about those 7 principles today, breaking them down one by one and explaining possibly what they mean for those, especially for the students who are watching these videos. So principle number 1 is about individualization. Okay, so Father Felix Biestek actually espoused that, as social workers, we need to treat our service users or our clients as individuals. Meaning that if you get to a family, there might be a father, there might be a mother, there might be 3-4 children from the same parents, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those 4 children, for those who are practicing with children, it doesn't necessarily mean that for those 4 children, they may have similarities here and there, but they are unique individuals on their own. So you need to treat them as unique individuals or as unique beings as they are. One thing interesting when it comes to practicing with individuals is that you'll find that of those 4 children, they might have different likes, for example. They might have different behaviors, for example. They might have, different needs, for example. So it's imperative that you treat each one of them as an individual, including the adults that you work with. It's really, really important that you treat each and every client or each and every service user that you use as individuals. It doesn't matter whether they come from the same country or they come from Pakistan or Zimbabwe or South Africa or Nigeria or Angola or which other country that you may have practiced with people from that country. They are different. They might be even from different tribes. They might be from even different parts of that particular country. So treat them as individuals. So Father Biestek said social workers should focus on the unique needs and strength of each individual client that they work with. I think I've explained this. The next one is actually non-judgmental attitude, right? What do we mean by non-judgmental attitude? You might be working with somebody who is an alcohol abuser, domestic abuse perpetrator, possibly also having mental health issues, what we would call a toxic trio, but you still need to approach that person or that individual with a non-judgmental attitude. You don't judge them because of what they've done, or you don't judge them because of who they are. You don't judge them because of where they come from or whatever it is, but you need to approach them with a non-judgmental attitude. Right, this is where issues around trauma-informed practice do come through. This is where issues around being sensitive comes from. So it's really, really important that you treat each and every client or service user that you work with in a non-judgmental attitude. So in principle number 2, Father Biestek actually said non-judgmental attitude. Social workers should maintain a non-judgmental attitude towards clients, recognizing their inherent dignity and worth. right? Their inherent dignity and worth. Those are the two key words when it comes to non-judgmental practice, in practicing in a non-judgmental attitude, right? Point number 3, or principle number 3, is self-determination. We need to know that in as much as we know much about social work, in as much as we think we know how to support our clients should have what we call the right to self-determine their destiny, or the right to self-determine what happens in their lives. So clients should be empowered to make their own decisions. Your intervention should actually empower the clients to make their own decisions. You are not there to make decisions for them, but you are there to show them what's good, what's bad, and support them in making the right decision. So clients should be empowered to make their own decisions and be active participants in the helping process. By doing this, you will ensure that you have come up with a sustainable plan of how they can support themselves at the time when you pull out your support, or at the time when you pull out your service. So there will be sustainability. They will be able to sustain those changes which you have actually implemented in their lives. So we need to know that at the back of our minds, right? Point number 4, or principle number 4, is confidentiality. I don't think for social workers I need to dwell much in terms of confidentiality. There are some service users we have complained about lack of confidentiality among some of the social workers. So I think we know really about the need for us to treat our clients' information and treat the issues we hear about our clients in a confidential manner. You can only release such information as and when it is necessary, or when somebody's life is at risk for something, something like that. That's only possibly when you can, you may be able to share some information. But it's also important, even good practice, to share with that person the reason why you would need to share that information with somebody else. So Father Biestek said here, social workers should maintain the confidentiality of client information, except in cases where there is a duty to disclose. I've already mentioned this already. Except where there is a duty to disclose, where possibly a child's life is at risk or an adult's life is at risk. This is where you are able to disclose, but you can only disclose to somebody who is relevant for you to be disclosing that information. Right, moving on to point number 4, purposeful expression of feelings. Purposeful expression of feelings. Father Biestek here spoke to us and said social workers should encourage clients to express their feelings in a purposeful and constructive way. Purposeful expression of feelings. I don't think I need to explain much in regards to this one. We are there to channel or direct our clients towards what we think would be the best for their own lives. But in doing so, you should give them a leeway or a chance to purposefully express their feelings about how things are going. Right. Going on, point number 5, it talks about controlled emotional involvement. This one, I really like, this point number 5, controlled emotional involvement, because I know some social workers do struggle in terms of trying to control their involvement in the lives of the clients that they are working with. Right. So in terms of when talking about controlled emotional involvement, as a social worker, you are dealing with real lives. We're dealing with people's everyday lives. And some of these things might trigger you. Some of these things might invoke in you things that may have happened with you as well in the past or something like that. But you need to exercise what we call controlled emotional involvement. If you manage to exercise point number 5 in terms of principle number 5, you'll be able to remain objective. You'll be able to remain focused on what needs to be happening going forward. Remember the signs of safety, what's working well, what's not working well, what needs to happen, and so forth. If you manage to exercise controlled emotional involvement, it will really help you as a social worker. So Father Biestek here is saying social workers should maintain a professional distance from clients while still remaining empathetic and emotionally supportive. So in other books you'll find it saying while remaining sympathetic and empathetic. They do use the both ways to say you still need to remain empathetic and sometimes sympathetic, but sometimes you need to take a step back and make sure that I would say maybe take a step back and see as if you are seeing things happening, but you still need to be involved in how things are happening and trying to steer people towards the right direction. So this is a massive advice being given there by Father Biestek, and things that we know that we need to stick to as qualified social workers or as registered social workers. Remember, these are the same principles which we have to uphold when it comes to social work England. So it's easy for you as a social worker to be able to practice this and to be able to know these things and actually do them every day. We do this every day. This is our bread and butter. Right. Going on to point number 6. Point number 6 talks about acceptance. Right? Sorry, controlled emotional involvement was actually point number 6. So point number 7 talks about acceptance. You need to accept your clients for who they are. Accept them for who they are, and you should be able to support them no matter what, no matter their race, creed, color, or whatever it is. You need to accept your service users as they are. Father Biestek actually says social workers should accept clients for who they are, regardless of their circumstances, and work with them to achieve their goals. So you'll find that this is the last of the 7 principles that I was going to be talking to you about. So in terms of these 7 principles, you'll find that it's really important to respect the autonomy and dignity of our clients. That's espoused in these 7 principles. Building trust in relationships. If you practice all these 7 principles, you'll be able to do that as well. And promoting positive change in the lives of those we seek to work with as social workers. So with those few words, colleagues, I say thank you so much for watching this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, so that when I post another video, you'll be the first person to know, and you'll be able to share with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Peace.